Fighter, you ready?
Combate Global!
Oh, what a punch! What an incredible fight! Can you believe what you just saw? We have a champion!
Welcome into the best of Combate Global here on Fuse TV. Joining you alongside the Jaula, I am Max Bretos. There is Alex Wendling. And Alex, we have a very special program today. You know who we're going to be talking about?
I think I have a guess. It goes a little something like,
Try it at home. You probably think we're crazy, but no, you know what we're talking about. We're talking about the #1 box office attraction at Combate Global. And Alex, it is none other than Lucero La Loba, the she-wolf, Acosta.
yes, Loba Acosta. She is a Tijuana Titan fighting out of San Diego with representing Alliance MMA. She is an absolute threat no matter where she goes inside La Jaula now. She started off as a boxer, now working in that front headlock game and working in those submissions. So we love to see a well-rounded fighter out there.
I've been thrilled to see her emergence. She came as a pretty solid prospect. She is now a huge star inside the Jaula and outside. Let's talk about her as a competitor here, Alex. What makes her so tough inside the Jaula?
She's really tough because she is the one always pressuring her fighters. We'll always see this coming up here against Manuela Marconetto. But again, in all of her fights, we've seen her against Maritza Sanchez, Chantel Coates, many fighters who like to come forward. She's the one who presses up against them. So that's typical La Loba and something that entertains the fans throughout the entire fight.
We're going to get a good look at La Loba, and as will you, and see what people are raving about. And we will start with that fight that Alex brought up against Manuela Marconetto, which wrapped up 2023 for La Loba with an absolute bang. This is the best of Combate Global on Fuse TV. Let's go to the tail of the tape, La Loba and Marconetto. Let's go to the head-to-head, the tail of the tape. Acosta, Marconetto. Alex, as you can see, an edge from both height and reach. Not a big one in favor of La Loba.
Yes, La Loba always bringing the muscle too, but Manuela Marconetto also ripped.
Our referee from Panama, Marcos Perez. And you can see La Loba ready to fire herself out of a cannon, as always, there in the white top. Mexico versus Italy, as always, a reminder about the international game that is promoted for Combate Global. The fighters really get into it too, Alex. I mean, we've never really seen this in mixed martial arts, but if you give them that opportunity to represent their flag, they jump at that opportunity.
Yes, they're both very serious, both coming forward right out the gate, and a nice kick gets Manuela to the floor. And here is where you see the front headlock work of La Loba. That upper body strength really pays dividends.
Lucero Acosta, a work in progress, working on her craft to the point by the end of 2023, she has been a well-oiled machine, seasoned, and still with a lot of room to build.
Yeah, she's definitely has her boxing roots, but you'll notice that she's throwing in some kicks there, some calf kicks, but her greatest strength is her hands.
Acosta also a viral sensation outside of the Jaula, getting a lot of attention. Marketing herself beautifully, but it's what she does inside the Jaula that makes her so special, as she is sending a barrage the way of Marconetto.
It's the overhand right and the calf kicks that are really getting the best of Manuela Marconetto right now. But she's staying calm, staying poised. The Butcher's Daughter. She gets her nickname for being the Butcher's Daughter, but also for slaying in La Jaula.
Sometimes you have these figurative nicknames. It's literal for Marconetto from Torino, Italy. Good Italian MMA, but still, you know, in diapers when you talk about the MMA scene there, but it's growing, and that's what Combate Global wants to plug into. Italian MMA, Spanish MMA, what's happening in South America. It's such an exciting time for the sport.
And this is such an awesome matchup. You have Orthodox versus Orthodox, and both of them are trying to work off of those angles, but both staying pretty square right now. So it'll be interesting to see who can angle off. And now La Loba is dropped. Manuela Marconetto capitalizing and getting to the back. We'll see La Loba's wall work here again. She immediately puts her shoulder over, looking for another front headlock position where she becomes a serious threat.
Back-to-back wins for La Loba coming into this. Her stand-ups improved a lot, but her guard was down there, Alex, and Marconetto is able to be a live wire.
And it's so interesting to see her shake off the cobwebs here, really compose herself after being dropped. As a fighter, you know there's a little bit of ego when you get dropped on your butt. So now she's looking to capitalize, and again, another tough right from Manuela Marconetto, connected.
Awesome first round by Marconetto. This is a trying situation for Acosta. Has to figure out how to get out of this, how to throw some back.
And we're already seeing so much improvement from Loba circling out. In her earlier fight, she wouldn't do that. She would get backed up against the cage, but now she's able to angle out and finish for those hooks right here.
All stand up early on. Little kick there by Acosta to the front leg of Marconetto, who's leaving it out there.
And that's what I would love to see more. Loba shuffling her feet, giving a little bit of switch step to kind of take Manuela by surprise, because right now they're both a little bit stationary, a little heavy-footed. But, you know, it's only the first round, 2 minutes to go. They're starting to feel each other's power for the first time, and they're probably like, wow, both of us are two strong queens inside loud.
Hey, it's just the first round, but there has been a volume of strikes here from both fighters. They're going for the win. They want to finish this in the first round.
And you'll notice it's not a whole lot of combinations right now. It's a lot of haymakers. But if one of those haymakers connects, it's lights out.
We've seen a real development. And I remember as Acosta gets caught by that overhand right by Marconetto. When we saw Acosta for the first time, the striking was good, but still had a lot of work to be done. It looks like the work is being done.
It's definitely being done over there at Victory MMA Alliance. She also gets a lot of training done with other stars on the Combate Global roster. And, they eat punches like that every Friday. They call it the Coven, where they all just tear each other apart every Friday. And that is coming out to show inside La Jaula tonight.
Good straight jab there. A couple of them by Loba. Combination.
And we're starting to see Loba slip a little bit. Manuela Marconetto on the back foot. And that's definitely not where she likes to be. She likes to be coming forward a little bit more as a kickboxer, light on the front foot. And Loba very heavy on the front foot coming from her boxing background. So it's a really interesting matchup. I'm happy that I got to commentate this one live, and it was very exciting through and through.
Loba, who is a mother amongst many other things. How high do you think her career can go? How have you seen the development? We've all been impressed of where it's gone from point A to now. How much higher do you think it can go?
I think to the moon. She is a star. She connects with her fans, and she brings the action when it comes to fight night. And here you can see her pace isn't going to slow down. We're going to get to see in the second round how much she brings it to. But we'll see if she was able to get the finish.
Got her! That may have been partially slipped Marconetto back to her feet. But Marconetto is all business, and she can give a punch. She can certainly take one, too.
Respira. Te quedo por acá para el lado derecho. El 32. El jab.
We are back.
Jab, el 32, okay?
Round one in the books here, and Loba all stand up. No takedowns. They were going for it.
Her coach here, Nestor Flores, he is the boxing genius. We're seeing Loba in this replay give a little bit of kicks, but then also finishing off with those punches, and gets dropped quickly back up. But that was a clean strike right across the jaw.
Yeah, the butcher's daughter, there's no play in her. She's got those hands like cleavers. Lots of power between both these women.
Getting ready for round number 2. After you were dropped, you don't know where you are in the scorecards. Wondering about the mentality going into this one.
That first round, I tend to give it to Loba, but I mean, that's where you don't want to be a judge. Marcos Perez will get us started for round number 2. It is Loba in the white and the blue.
Marconetto taking the center of La Jaula. For a second, she did a switch stance. But now she's quickly backing up as she felt the wrath of Loba Acosta coming in with a lot of fire in this second round.
So many coaches tell you to follow up with punches, and that's all Loba does. It's a series.
She smells blood.
Into the body.
This could be it.
It is it.
Loba Acosta gets it done with her signature howl to end the night.
Let's hear it, Alex. Hey, it's all about branding, and that's what we love, La Loba. It's one thing to be good inside the Jaula, but if you really want to go places in this sport, you've got to make yourself marketable, and La Loba has done that brilliantly.
And she really is a fighter that lives off of energy. And when you think about what La Loba represents, the wolf, the full moon, so this night, on this fight night, it was a full moon. So it was a magical night for her.
Beware the she-wolf. Marconetto, fantastic in the first round, but I don't think she knew what happened in half two as La Loba came out firing.
She ate a few to get this finish, but once she started going to the body, Manuela Marconetto wanted nothing to do with it. And Marcos Perez saw enough.
Something hurt Marconetto because she was not going to throw back punches. There it was. That was a good right. That's the one that stung her. Yep.
That definitely stung her, and now La Loba walks away with another finish to her illustrious career.
That would make it 3 wins on the trot for La Loba. And that one after a decision and a submission victory via TKO. We're going to go back inside the Jaula, get the official decision from our ring announcer, Beatriz Gales.
El tiempo oficial. 32 segundos del round número 2, the official time. 32 seconds of round number 2. And the winner, by technical knockout, la ganadora, por knockout técnico, desde México, Lucero La Loba Acosta.
It's got to feel really good, Alex, to not just get a win, but see those 3 letters by the victory. TKO.
Improving her record to 5-2. That's got to feel pretty good against someone who's tough. Manuela Marconetto came in with a lot of muscle, a lot of technique, but La Loba was able to weather the storm even after being dropped in the first. I think that made her a little angry. I think that made her want to come out and get the finish like she did.
Marconetto has fought all over the world. She's fought for some big promotions. She fought great in the first round. But hats off to Lucero La Loba Acosta, not just for winning, not just for the knockout, but just maintaining that tempo. Put her foot on the pedal and kept it on there. Great fitness.
And La Loba wants to be number 1 in this flyweight division, so she's trying to send a message to none other than Maritza Sanchez. She wants that fight, and that's a matchup that I'm sure a lot of people want too.
I can't imagine, although you got to proceed with caution to get inside the Jaula against La Loba, but I can't imagine if you're a top fighter, you don't want that fight because you know what it comes with. It comes with the bright lights, it comes with the high profile, it comes with everything, but be careful because you're going to have to face La Loba.
Someone with a non-stop mentality and the signature howl to end the night.
How about that? We look at the stats. Again, no takedowns. This was striker's paradise. Lots of punches, but 29 kicks. I think Lucero will be happy about that.
Yeah, she's definitely starting to diversify her game, really evolutionize, and really work in that Muay Thai as well. But again, it was the boxing that got it done tonight.
Victory for La Loba. We can't wait to see what is next for her coming in 2024. La Loba delivering once again. Another big victory, impressive victory for La Loba. It's something we say a lot, Alex, when we talk about Lucero Acosta. But to me, and we look back a little bit in time here, there was a time where she had to test herself. And sometimes you can't win. Very few MMA fighters win all the time. And this was something that she took the most out of it and was able to spring her towards the success she has had in 2023.
You definitely learn from your losses, and La Loba taking a loss against Maritza Sanchez really shaped her game because she knew exactly what she had to work on. And when I talked to La Loba in an interview, I asked her, who is the fighter that she thinks hits the hardest? She said Maritza Sanchez, and it's a fight that she looks to redeem herself one day.
This is a fantastic matchup that you're about to see, where La Loba got a lot better. We've certainly talked a lot about Maritza Sanchez, another fighter you're going to want to keep an eye on here in Combate Global. Are you ready to relive this one more time?
Yeah, it's a very intense one. The crowd in Fresno was going absolutely crazy because we get a vicious finish.
Yes, and we're going to see it, not right now. We'll take a quick commercial break, and when we return, one of the best fights in Combate history, Maritza Sanchez, Lucero La Loba Acosta. We're back here on the Best of Combate Global on Fuse TV. It's time, La Loba versus Maritza Sanchez.
Damas y caballeros, desde el Save Mart Center, Fresno, California, prepárense. Prepare yourselves. This is Combate Américas, México versus the USA. Este duelo. 3 vueltas en la división peso gallo this bout. 3 rounds in the bantamweight division. Los jueces son, the judges are Marcos Rosales, Ralph McKnight y Mike Bell. Presentando la esquina azul, introducing the blue corner. Vestida de negro, wearing solid black, her official weight. 134 and 1/2 pounds, su peso oficial. 134 libras y media. Entra a la jaula por segunda vez a nivel profesional con récord de 1 derrota. She enters la jaula for the second time as a pro with a record of 1 defeat. Representing Placerville, California, Maritza Sanchez. Su rival en la esquina roja, her opponent in the red corner, wearing white, vestida de color blanco, su peso oficial, 133 libras y media, her official weight, 133 and 1/2 pounds. Igual que su rival, en su segundo combate dentro de la jaula, con récord de 1 victoria, like her opponent. She enters la jaula for the second time as a pro, with a record of 1 victory. Esta noche, dedica su combate a todas las víctimas y sobrevivientes de la violencia doméstica. Tonight, she dedicates this bout to all the victims and survivors of domestic violence. Fighting out of El Centro, California, y Puro Tijuana, Baja California, México, La Loba, Lucero Acosta. Our referee, Frank Trigg.
All right, ladies, you got your shorts in the locker room. Obey my commands at all times. Press yourself at all times. You want to touch gloves, do it now. Back to your corners, come out swinging.
Indeed, the great Frank Trigg there. And here we go. We're going back into 2020, the incredible history of Combate, and this was Maritza Sanchez, Lucero Acosta, a fight we're going to want to see again here in the not-too-distant future.
I thought there was going to be a no-glove touch there for a second. Maritza Sanchez was glaring down La Loba. They touched gloves, though, and now they're ready for war.
To get to know La Loba a little better, we got to go back to her early days, and this was a fight we're still talking about. Both these fighters with Combate doing very well, doing much better. But this was just the beginning. Maritza Sanchez just getting into it. That's her in the black. And, of course, La Loba, who we just saw how she has developed as a fighter.
And we talk about La Loba being a come-forward fighter, but here she's on the back foot in the opening seconds, and now she's feeling the strength of Maritza Sanchez for the first time.
We talked earlier about the striking, about how it's improved for La Loba as she loses her mouthpiece. We talked about the striking. You can see back here where it was a work in progress and how much better it's gotten. Meanwhile, Sanchez is just precise.
She is. Even when she was going in, La Loba was able to counter, knock that mouthpiece out, get a quick reset, but La Loba's already bleeding a little bit from what seems like the upper eye.
This was just the second professional fight for La Loba in her MMA career, and also just the second fight for Maritza Sanchez. So you can see how they have emerged since and haven't tasted defeat much since then as the blood starts to pour from the right eye of La Loba.
And Maritza Sanchez in this fight, I'm sure, wanted the win extra badly because she was submitted by Christina Pettigrew in her last fight. So La Loba, she could have continued on with a 2-0 win if she got the win against Maritza, but Maritza here is looking to balance out her record.
Sanchez has taken the center of the jaula and not relinquishing it. La Loba's trying to get some of it back, but as you can see, she's moving backwards, and Sanchez fills the space.
And you can see it. The strength of Maritza in those punches, it's starting to wane on La Loba a little bit. Her hands are coming a little low. Maybe the cardio's not feeling right there.
Nice kick to the lead leg by Sanchez. Grandstand punt right after it. La Loba, you got to see, she's got to get some more output there.
And you can tell La Loba is very green in the stand-up so far. But there's been so much improvement since then, and she's really handling a come-forward fighter like Maritza Sanchez, who is headhunting right
Alex,
now.
I'm just watching this. It's amazing to see La Loba back then and how far she has come. in the 2 years. It's a different fighter, and it's just a testament how much she's worked and learned from this experience.
Yes, and being able to take a hit like that. Is she going to be able to come back from that? Immediately locking up the rear naked choke before even having her hooks in.
Holding on, desperate times for La Loba, hanging onto the cage. Doesn't look good. There's the tap.
In a very unorthodox form of finishing that rear naked choke. An amazing celebration in her hometown.
That is fantastic. Deep rear naked choke to the standing La Loba, who knew there was nowhere she could go.
An absolute flawless victory for Maritza Sanchez. She told me that this was her favorite fight because she had family there in her hometown in Northern California.
Damas y caballeros, la esquina azul aplica un estrangulamiento mata-león, obligando a su rival a darse por vencida con un tiempo oficial de 2 minutos 35 segundos del primer episodio. Ladies and gentlemen, the blue corner sinks in a rear naked choke, forcing her opponent to tap with an official time of 2 minutes 35 seconds of the opening stanza. Your winner, by way of submission, la ganadora por sumisión, from Placerville, California, USA, Maritza Sanchez.
Let's go cara a cara, the tail of the tape, Alex, and it's pretty even. Age, height, 3-inch reach advantage in favor of La Loba.
And it'll be very interesting to see how she can use that reach advantage against Mariel Celimen, who we know has a wrestling background and is really going to try to close the distance using that wrestling technique.
Big build up to this one. It is time to fight.
El referee, Marcos Pérez.
El panameño Marcos Pérez, third inside the jaula.
Alto. Ya saben las reglas, ¿ok? Que una pelea limpia, siga mi comando en todo momento, ¿ok? Choquen guantes y vayan a sus esquinas.
La Loba just posed up and locked it in.
We can see the emotion on La Loba's face. A lot more confident than we've seen in her other fights. She's really bringing that anger and attitude inside La Jaula for this round.
Remember the build-up to this. It was crazy. There was a photo shoot where La Loba was on Celimen's neck, and they were
Immediately.
It was bizarre. It was a crazy build-up, and we couldn't wait for the fight. We were curious how it would look, and right from the jump, Celimen in the yellow, one of the colors of her native Venezuela.
And La Loba egging on Mariel Celimen, who said in the pre-fight interviews to this that La Loba should watch out because after this fight she would have an ugly face. So
that's not nice.
That's not very nice, but she said that she wanted to do some damage, and I think she was also giving a sneak-in compliment saying that La Loba's pretty as well. But Mariel Celimen looking to do some damage. She immediately shot in for a takedown. We know that's her game plan going in. So to see how La Loba defends it will be very interesting.
That's some good spin, Alex. You're saying, "Thank, you're too good looking. I'm going to have to change that for you. You're an MMA fighter. I'm doing you a solid here."
And La Loba really taking her time, trying to see her openings here, and finding the chin of Mariel Celimen.
Look at that jab. Not a lot of volume of punches that we saw in La Loba. There we go. Now it starts to churn. What about the trash talk? You want to sell a fight, but some of the fighters, it doesn't come natural to them. And if it's not there, you can't force it. But this was, you sensed it. There was like, all right, we're competitors. We're gonna get after it, and I want to step over you to get my arm raised.
Yeah, it definitely comes natural to Mariel Celimen. She even had some trash talk back and forth with Tyler Schaefer at one point. She trains with the people over there at Goat Shed, and they go viral for their face-off moments where they're talking their crap, and that's what really builds a fight. This is probably one of the most animosity-driven fights that we've had in Combate Global history, so we'll be able to see if the emotions play a part in this fight.
Missed takedown attempt from Celimen. Both of these ladies' mothers. Celimen trying to close the ground. Good defense here from Loba, something we could work. And that's why I love that we were able to watch the Maritza Sanchez before. Because look at La Loba, it's a different fighter.
Yeah, the way she's keeping her hands up, the way she's staying pace, and able to manage the distance much better than she was managing against Maritza. Again, Mariel Celimen, and not to the level of Maritza Sanchez when it comes to the striking department, but being weary of what her opponent's strengths are, which is the wrestling department, is a great strength of La Loba.
Good kick there to that lead leg by La Loba. Want to soften up that leg, let you get that balance off.
Solid combination from both fighters. We have 2 minutes and 17 seconds left in the first round. Nothing super significant happening so far, but we know that these two are looking to find the magic spot that knocks their opponent out. Ooh.
Good right hand there by La Loba. Push back Celimen, follows it up with the kick. It was interesting, he had that one takedown attack by Celimen, but this is all stand up, and I imagine that's the way it's going to remain. I saw the fight, so I can say that. But even then, you knew this was what it was going to be. A little jaw in there by La Loba.
Yeah, La Loba is getting a little feisty, getting a little flow going, getting a little creative with her feints as well, which is so much improvement from what we've seen.
Really good with the kicks. Inside of the leg, outside, tenderizing that lead leg of Celimen.
And the Loba Acosta is obviously very entertaining in the cage, but she's been able to build a connection with her fan base as well. So you knew a lot of people were watching this fight specifically because they support her as a human being. Coming from Tijuana, moving to San Diego because of trying times that she had in Tijuana, dealing with abuse and having to be a mom and fight for a better life. Now we see that symbolically inside La Jaula when she leaves it all inside the cage.
Tijuana, a fighting town. If you are from there, you've got to be tough, and that goes with all the border cities in Baja California where we've, in the past, been able to visit with Combate in Tijuana and Mexicali.
Nice takedown from Mariel Celimen, but will she be able to capitalize and maintain the control? La Loba is very strong, probably one of the strongest flyweights we have on the Combate Global roster.
This is a good strategy if you're Celimen. You want to bring La Loba down to the ground.
You want to get her down to the ground. She had a great submission against Tyler Schaefer when she got to her back, sunk in a rear naked choke. So that's what she's trying to do here with this body lock against the cage.
And La Loba able to face Celimen. And remember, we saw that fight with Maritza Sanchez, who was able to get the rear naked choke on La Loba. So I'm not sure there was a submission attempt by Celimen, but if there was one, it seemed like she was ready as we reached the final seconds of the first round.
And Mario going to be looking to really capitalize on these moments where she has solid head position, but what can she do with it?
Second round next. Back here, round number 2. Lucero La Loba Acosta in blue, taking on Mariel Celimen. A real grudge match. A lot of chatter before this fight. We were waiting for it for a couple weeks. It finally arrived. So far, as you can see, living up to expectations.
And La Loba really working in those feints now. She's at a point in her career where she really knows her boxing is her strength, but how can she get to those punches? By faking.
La Loba, who's grown with Combate Global and seeing her MMA career develop, some speed bumps along the way, but it's been clean sailing in 2023.
And just starting MMA in 2019 and then only one amateur fight before going pro, the way she's been able to mature her game so quickly is, I think, attributed to the pressure that she feels almost as a mom to be able to support and to be able to get the wins inside La Jaula. We see here into the guard of La Loba.
Almost was able to snuff the takedown attempt, but that time Celimen locks it down. Although, how do you see La Loba's defending here as we see the scorecards from round 1, all for Lucero?
So La Loba's isolating that arm with an overhook. She's not known for her guard game, so it'll be interesting to see here if she's able to get any type of submission attempts. But we do know she does have some flexibility as well, which helps if she's trying to shoot up a triangle, look for an armbar here. But right now it looks like she's just trying to negate the mobility of Mariel, and Marcos Perez saw enough. Back to the feet, back to the action.
Pretty quick there for Marcos Perez. I don't think the fans mind, but certainly we see Campbell McLaren there by Jaula's side. You want to get that action going, and it's one of the foundation stones for Combate Global. Mucho más acción, much more action.
And the Loba Acosta really starting to bob and weave here. in the orthodox stance. Another orthodox versus orthodox matchup we have going on, which leaves that front leg in danger.
Decent damage on that front leg from La Loba.
And the output of Marielle Celimen is really low. For someone that said she wants to make the face of La Loba Acosta ugly, you would think she'd be throwing a little bit more. So will she be able to find that chin like she just did with a stiff jab?
Backs it up, 2 for 1. A little blood out of the mouth there of La Loba. I mean, she'll take some punches to give some. She is tough that way. Good hard chin there.
And now La Loba's a little bit on the back foot. We don't know if it's because she's feeling a little bit tired, but
Big knee.
she's definitely the fighter that likes to come forward, yet we have Marielle Celimen setting the pace.
Celimen again from Maracaibo, Venezuela. A decorated fighter in her amateur days.
And not a ton of Venezuelan representation in Combate in general, but she is a great representative of that country, and she's really able to utilize her wrestling and make a name for herself with the marketability that she has.
Absolutely. And those, it can start like wildfire. You get a good fighter from a country, and then they pass their know-how, and then all of a sudden you have a good gym, and then you have a second fighter. It's how the growth. And this is one of the great growth sports, and there is very few bigger growth sports than MMA, in particular women's MMA.
Giving them an opportunity to showcase their martial arts skill on the biggest platform. A platform, too, where we really focus on women fighters. There have been multiple occasions where the female matchups has been the main card of the evening, like tonight. And the Loba Acosta really picking her shots.
It's been a tough second round for La Loba here. She's not been able to get into that rhythm that we saw. It's been a tough fight overall to get into a rhythm. Two good defensive fighters. Good shot into the ribs there by La Loba. Slip. Hit Celimen on the temple.
And now just 55 seconds left to go. Another strong overhand right from La Loba. And these two really starting to feel what it's like to go into deep water. And a nice connection from Marielle Celimen.
A straight right. Bypassing the jab. Celimen throwing punches.
You gotta imagine what's going on in the minds of Coach Nestor Flores right now, coach of La Loba. She's throwing them and they're connecting. But who has the more significant strikes? That'll be up to the judges. You hear 1-1-2. 1-1-2. 1-1-2.
Also heard a knock her out, Marielle. Celimen's got to be feeling good right here. Good round number 2 for her. 2 rounds in the books. And it has been as competitive as we had predicted.
Let's hear what these corners have to say, because that round was very back and forth.
Both fighters a little worse for wear, bloodied up from a strike-heavy contest.
And an attempt at the takedown here. Marielle couldn't control it, but again, she works to the cage. Lucero getting so good at evading and angling out when she needs to.
There's a look at the ref cam. That was the slip, but Celimen knew it too, and she followed up with the kick. So it really comes down to round 3.
It does.
We will get you to all the action. Round 3 of La Loba and Marielle Celimen on the best of Combate Global. We are back here for round 3, and Alex, everything's still hanging in the balance. Celimen had a takedown attempt in both rounds, was successful in round 2. Now she's got a decent strategy against La Loba, who looks like she's got her sails full of wind again.
Exactly, and going in for that double leg, she hasn't had too much success there. Fighting for it now with the body lock. But La Loba, she's strong. She's able to weather that storm up against the cage. And similar strategy to what she's doing, intertwining that leg.
What about that takedown defense for La Loba? This was something that was non-existent earlier in the career, as we see the scores favoring Celimen for round 2, so we're everything to fight for in round 3.
And she has that Kimura grip right there. If she really, really got a good angle on it, that could be a threat, but that was honestly a great way to defend.
The takedown defense, excellent.
Excellent from La Loba. And really taking into account that Mario Celimen's best weapon going into this fight would be her wrestling. So the counter wrestling from Loba has been key. And we've been seeing her even try to put Marielle into some guillotine-like positions. She's been making the most of that. Classic counter wrestling and a nice strike there from Loba.
If you're as good of a striker that Loba is, if you can handle that takedown defense and keep on your feet, that the sky is the limit. And we're seeing some of that come to view against Celimen, who's a really good fighter and throwing a lot back.
Yes, Marielle Celimen, she's training with Goatshed, who has some great wrestlers there as well. But also Jade Duran, she's been getting some rounds in there as well, so she's been working on her striking. We haven't seen the most output from Marielle when it comes to the feet, but the ones that do connect, they shake Loba a bit, like that one right there.
Jab from Celimen with that left hand. Trying to get that right hand cocked back, and this is on that kick. Loba staying out of range.
And we just need to see more combinations out of Marielle, is what it is. It's too many one punches, and it allows Loba to recover.
That's all she has designs for. Punch.
And look for the takedown.
Single leg. Nothing.
Loba getting a little feisty.
She's strong.
She wants more.
Me down. Straight left.
Yes, stiff jabs from Loba. They're really starting to find Marielle Celimen's chin.
Halfway through this third round. Another good left hand there
But despite the stiff jabs landing, Marielle Celimen just keeps continuing to walk forward.
And those jabs, you can hear them from Loba. You don't even have us to point it out. You hear, still strong left hand. The combination's not as frequent from Loba either. The jab is doing the damage.
But the improvement from Loba to be able to still have output on the back foot. Because when we saw her against Maritza Sanchez on the back foot, it was just all defense and all running away. But now she's able to counter strike and really make the most on the feet against Marielle Celimen.
So really good 3-punch combo from Loba. And Celimen's losing the range and really getting heavy there. Very leggy from Celimen. The damage of Loba paying dividends.
You can see in the physicality of Marielle, she's getting a little winded here. We have 1 minute and 40 seconds left in this final round. Ooh, she eats an overhand right from Loba.
Celimen is hurting, Loba flourishing, doing a lot of talking inside the Jaula. Celimen back to the cage.
And this is where Loba starts to have some fun. When she starts bobbing and weaving, she starts fainting, starts getting into that flow state. This is the Loba we love to see.
Good right hand. She's feeling it. Celimen is not. Third round, she has run out of gas. That left eye closing.
Great at evading and making distance when she needs to.
Again, we see that growth of Loba. You see it every fight. There's going to be a stop by Marco Perez. They will look at Marielle Celimen's eye. Just under a minute to go here in the third round.
We'll see what happened there.
Oh, it's pretty gruesome.
Ooh.
Well, they will take a look at that. We'll take a quick break and we'll get back to final of round 3 here on the Best of Combate Global. And we're going to pick up the final moments of round 3. Normally, Alex, I would say that getting a little rest there, not bad for Marielle Celimen, but it seems that the damage is done for Loba. But as I say that, Celimen with one last thrust.
Yeah, she went in for that single leg, but like we said, the defense of Loba has gotten pretty good. She locked the arms there. She says, no, you have nothing
you
here.
Ain't got me.
And now we know that the arm-in guillotines of Loba have really strengthened after this fight, but she has the positioning here. We'll see if she'll be able to finish it.
Loba, just tough. That air of arrogance, too, which she wears very well, especially in this fight when she can back it up inside the Jaula.
And the irony of what's going on here, the taunting that Loba is doing. After all the trash talk Marielle was saying in the beginning, I'm going to make you ugly in there, Loba, to having a really bloody eye herself.
Oh, yeah. Wait till you get a look at this. Celimen's face completely disfigured. And
wow.
Loba wins round 1. We know that. Celimen won round 2. And then in round 3, it was dominant from Loba.
Yeah, and ending in that front headlock position, tongues out from Loba, and some good mutual respect there after all the trash talk was done.
So Loba with a massive win.
Ooh.
Keep in mind, she was coming off a loss Chantel Coates, and this set her off. This will be the first of 3 straight wins between September of 2022 and December of 2023, and very good opponents. In this case, Mariel Celimen.
This definitely has to be a top win for Lucero La Loba Acosta.
There is Campbell McLaren, happy about one of his stars, and you put so much into these stars, and then you see them lift their game. That's what they did. We are ready for the official decision. We're going to go inside the Jaula and hand it off to Lupe Contreras. And it'll be La Lupe. Pardon me, La Loba. La Lupe is someone else. La Loba, victorious.
Después de 3 vueltas, los jueces están de acuerdo con tarjetas de 29 a 28 after 3 rounds. The judges are in agreement with identical scores of 29 to 28. All in favor of the winner by way of unanimous decision, a favor de la vencedora por decisión unánime. La Loba! Lucero Acosta!
Awesome third round.
An awesome third round and a great mutual respect from them there. A great win for La Loba, and Coach Nestor Flores very proud of his tutelage.
Big star. That's why we dedicated a show to her. Lucero La Loba Acosta, learn the name. An amazing, amazing fight, Alex. I remember being right outside the Jaula for all of that. It was intense before. It was obviously intense during, and even afterwards, it continued outside the Jaula. I think when it's all said and done, and I don't know which direction La Loba goes in her career, that's going to be at the top of her list when it comes to fights.
Yes, that's definitely a sweet win. And as a fighter, you want to build up the fight as much as you want, but all that animosity was 100% real. They are definitely not besties, training partners after this. So you can definitely, hope to maybe see a rematch in the future, because that would be intense. But I know La Loba has her sights on other things in 2024, so people cannot wait to see her back in action.
I love you can't fake that animosity. It's got to be real. And it was in bushels when you saw that. So 2023, La Loba finishes on top. 2024, new year, she's going to look. What would you like to see from her to advance her game?
I would love to see her continuing to work that front headlock game. You see how much muscle she has on her body. She needs to make the most of it, especially when the boxing isn't going her way, because people are really evolutionizing their striking game. If she can mix in that front headlock game, that will be so strong come 2024.
A lot on her plate. The world is her oyster, and La Loba is the top star in Combate Global. I hope you enjoyed the best of Combate Global here on Fuse TV. We'll see you again next time. We have a busy 2024. On behalf of Alex Wendling, I am Max Bredos. So long, everybody.